Aslama and welcome to another episode of itsMaShow. Today I'm in downtown LA going to a fashion show. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to itsMaShow. This is Habibi Dave Lauscar. We have dubbed him Lauscar because he is just that spicy. He is that full of culture and flavor. The man is full of talent, to be honest, top to bottom.
Oh, come on.
So please introduce yourself to the people. Let them know who you are, what you do.
Well, nice to meet you. What's the name of your channel?
It's My Hair. It's all the same name, and then the show is itsMaShow.
It's My Hair and
it's all
it's my show.
It's my something.
Well, what's up? It's my show. It's now my show.
It's my show.
My name's Dave Lauscar, actor, model, producer, director extraordinaire. Sorry, I give myself too much credit. I focus mostly on acting and modeling. I'm also a director of a small competition team that I get the privilege to bring here to this amazing convention every year, the IMTA convention. And I get to not only live my dreams every day, chasing this, I don't even know how to describe this industry, this acting and modeling industry. It's like an enigma, you know? Some days you have it in the palm of your hand, and then other days it's like dust that just flies away in the wind.
It's always been dust to me. So please tell us about how it feels in the palm of your hand.
So it's definitely, it comes with its wins and losses.
So
like
give us an
else.
example of when you felt like, what event was it that made you feel like you had it in the palm of your hands?
So my very first serious booking was actually on the modeling side. After I came home from IMTA, I was able to go home back where I lived in Philadelphia, and things were slow starting off. I really wanted to book more acting jobs, but I also expanded my horizons as a model. I showed up to Philly Fashion Week, which at the time I hadn't even known existed, but I decided to throw my hat in the ring, and I got cast. So that was my first serious booking where I had multiple designers. I was in an official show at an official fashion week.
The Philly Fashion Show, I actually remember that was one of the things you posted on social media.
Yes.
Bro, I was so hyped for you. I was like, look at Dave. He's got all this cool stuff going on.
It was such a cool experience too. I got to wear this amazing blue piece, and it was kind of a theme set in the 40s with a really large, amazing top hat. I still even remember that designer that gave me my first opportunity. His name was Cristobal.
That's funny.
So yeah, that was the first major booking, and then after I booked that show, it felt like it was a little bit more of an avalanche, where that first booking led to another booking, which led to another one. And yes, there were no's that happened along the way.
Definitely.
But I never really paid attention to the no's because I always was so focused on the yeses. And even if the yeses were a little bit far apart, it didn't feel that way to me because I was just so focused on the next thing and the next thing, and even if I got rejected, it didn't matter.
So you started off modeling, and that's where you feel like you got your break. Have you since gotten any acting roles?
I have actually. So as of right now, am a blue man in the Blue Man Group.
Yeah. See, he told me, I didn't want to spoil it. I didn't know if we could talk about it, but tell the people about the Blue Man Group.
So I'm sure your followers are very knowledgeable in the entertainment industry, and they know exactly who the Blue Man Group are. But if you don't, hit up the fancy Google machine and just type in the Blue Man Group, and you'll see that they're an amazing percussion ensemble. They have a couple of different residencies and a couple of tours that they go on all over the world. And they have the most amazing shows. If you have yet to see a Blue Man show, 10 out of 10 recommend. You can come see me personally in Vegas at the MGM Grand.
So the Blue Man Group, obviously they don't talk on stage. They just play the drums, and it's kind of like physical acting. So why do you consider that acting when there's no lines? A lot of people say if there's no lines, you're not acting, you're just background, you're just modeling, you're just a pretty face.
I think that is hilarious, because anybody that says if you don't have any lines, you're not acting, truly does not understand what acting is. Because when it comes to communication, the words that come out of our mouth are only 10% of that communication. Everything else is the body language and your tonality and all that good stuff. So whenever you're interacting with each other and embodying a role, that is what acting truly is. At least that's what I define it as. For me, the dream always starts whenever you first get that initial breakdown, and you have to adopt that character. You have to take those words on the page, or even if there are no words on the page, take the actions that are on the page and bring them to life. It takes a certain skill set to not only bring those characteristics to life, but also do it in a believable way. We all know what good acting versus bad acting looks like, but not a lot of people can get up here and tell you how to be a good actor versus how to be, well, I'm sure a lot of people can tell you how to be a bad actor, but not a lot of people can tell you how to be a good actor.
So do you find being a good actor comes naturally to you, or did you really have to go to class and put in the work? Because how long have you been with your agency?
I've been with my agency 5 years now.
Okay. And was it mostly just like straight get to work, or was there an educational experience along the way? Did they put you through classes? Did you do it yourself?
It was both. So I consider myself a very ambitious individual. So I always pursue knowledge, and I always want to deepen my knowledge bank. And even when you get to the point that you are booking jobs, and if you're booking jobs consistently, you still have to keep training, because not everything you have in your wheelhouse right now is everything that you're going to need in the future. I mean, they even say Denzel still attends acting classes, and he's one of the greatest actors to have ever lived.
Right. I guess my question really was, did you just like feel like you had a talent for acting, or did you think that like, I'm not there personally, I don't think I'm there, but I know with acting classes I can get there? So like, would you consider yourself a natural talent, or like you felt like you needed classes?
I think having an exuberant personality is already a natural talent. Not everybody has that, but it's also something that you can learn. So I think my personality is what led me into this industry.
Okay.
But I don't think the personality that I had was enough for me to be booking jobs, and even more than that, book things consistently and be a consistent working actor.
Okay, you just felt like you had the energy for it, and then you went for it. You're like, let's figure out how to make this work.
Exactly. When I first got into the industry, it was because I had just graduated college. I had my degree. I had just moved to Philly with my new 9-to-5 job. And in college, I was always so used to being the captain of a team or the president of a club, and always going back and forth and constantly running around. I would wake up at 7 a.m. and wouldn't be in bed until midnight. But then whenever I transitioned from my college life to my first full-time job, it felt really awkward, because all I had was that 9 to 5, and then maybe 2 hours of the gym after that. And then after that, it just felt like most days you were just kind of sitting around waiting to go back to work again the next day. And I couldn't ever just do that, you know? But at the same time, I thought that my personality was so big that I didn't just want to go work in like a grocery store or be a security guard or anything like that. Not to knock those professions. Those are essential careers and we love those people who still do that. But I wanted a little something more, and I wanted to be able to utilize my personality. So that's when I went and I sought out my agency and started taking classes and started building the career that I have.
That's admirable, actually. A lot of people just like want to chase dreams, but you're like, I want to fill up my time, and then you found entertainment and your agency. Tell me about the agency, because personally I don't have an agency. A lot of the people that I meet out here in Los Angeles don't have an agent or an agency or management or any representation of the sort. There's a stigma around agencies about like, oh, a lot of them are scamming, yada yada yada. So what's your experience with your agency? Would you recommend it for everybody? What's your take?
So I started off at Barbizon Chic, which is actually a model and talent school, and from there, my mother agent placed me with my agency in New York and also my management team here in Los Angeles. So I'll plug them in. I'm signed to B2B Management in New York City, and then I'm also signed to Gem Entertainment Group in Los Angeles. So let's start with the training. I think that's where a lot of people would consider things a scam, because they almost want to start training today and they expect that a month from now, 2 months from now, 6 months from now, it's just going to happen and these jobs are just going to come rolling in. That's not true. You don't go to, and I compare it to any other career that you would even go to college for. You don't go to one semester of college and then drop out and say, oh, I'm ready to be an engineer. I'm ready to be a doctor. I'm ready to go do this. You have to go through 4 years, and it's because you don't know what you don't know. And through the process of having coaches that have been through things that they can teach you, and learning through experiences, you grow so much more as a person and as an actor, and that leads you to being able to book your first job. And then after you book your first job, the challenge is now starting to book consistently. My experience with my management team, I actually love my management team because they listen to my vision and they do their absolute best to keep me grounded in that vision. I remember when I had initially booked the Blue Man Group, the first call was obviously to my mom because I was super excited, and she's the first person I call about anything. But then my next call was to my agent to let her know, hey, you sent me out on this audition and I'm coming back with it. I was super excited. And she was excited for me too, but the very first thing she said is, hey, enjoy this moment, celebrate yourself, but at the same time, this isn't the end goal. Because we've talked about where I want to go and how someday I want to have my own TV show. And even though I was super amped and I was over the moon that I had just booked that opportunity, she still kept me grounded and, hey, this is great. This is exactly the direction that we want to be going. But at the same time, this isn't the end goal. This isn't everything that we have in store. And the next phases are going to continue to get brighter, right? So whenever I first signed with them, they have this expectation that you're probably not going to book anything really in your first 2 years. And they expect that whole time, while you're still working hard and you're showing up to auditions and doing everything that you can, you're still really learning the process of how to cast and what makes a good tape, what makes a good audition and self-tape and all that good stuff. So I am truly blessed to have that team that A, keeps me grounded, and B, gave me the space to grow and get better. And I still feel like I'm growing. I'm obviously not in my final form.
Never ends, no.
So they really give me that space that I feel powerful enough to keep moving forward.
So from what I heard, your management is basically a group of friends that keeps it real and humbles you, right?
Yeah.
So if you got friends out there that keep it real, that's your management team.
I mean, not necessarily, but it's important to have that sort of relationship with your team, because you're going to be working with them for, potentially, depending on how much success you have with them, you could be working with them through the rest of your career.
For the foreseeable future.
Exactly. And if you don't have a good relationship with them, then you're either A, going to burn out and just not end up wanting to do things, or B, they're just not going to send you auditions because they'll be worried about how you're going to be on set. And you're also a reflection of who they are. So they don't want to send you out there and come up with a bad name for themselves.
True. I wanna ask you about the whole mother agency thing, because that's been a weird one for me to wrap my head around personally. How does that work? Like, you have an agency that refers you to another agency, and then like they're working together, but there's separate entities and yada yada. Do you know how that works? Can you clear it up for me at least?
So I'm definitely not an expert when it comes to navigating mother agencies, management teams. What I can tell you though is a lot of times your mother agency is someone that helps to develop you so that you are agency ready. And yes, mother agencies have those connections that they could take you to one of those higher agencies and give you a recommendation to at least see you. You know, it's like they can get you a job interview, they can get your foot in the door, but then it's up to you to be your best self and then end up getting signed to that agency. So when I look at mother agents, I consider them more of a developmental piece and more of an educational piece, and they're more of that highway to where you're going. A lot of the higher agencies that a lot of people dream of getting into, they won't just meet with some random person off the street. You've got to know somebody that knows somebody just to even get an appointment. And that's where a mother agency is so crucial, because they'll develop you, they know what you're good at, they know what you're not good at, and then once they feel that you're ready enough to be pitched to one of those bigger agencies, then that's what they'll do. And then it's up to you to go and make it happen.
I guess that's where people feel it can get a bit scammy, is that like they expect an agency to book you work and they don't understand the value of training, the value of different markets. Like if you're in Oklahoma, like what kind of work you're gonna get there other than being an extra on the Tulsa King, right? Have you seen that series?
I have not seen
Tulsa King. Oh, it's great.
King,
I recommend it. But getting off track here. It's just, so like I feel that when people don't get what they expect, they just run for the word scam.
But like I said, and it runs back to the fact that they want to train for 6 months or less, and they expect that they should be booking and working, and it just doesn't work like that. It doesn't matter what career you pick in this life, you can't just go train for a couple of weeks, a couple of months, and then expect to be the best of the best.
I mean, there's different ways to go about it. There's like, for example, you could say you're taking the quote unquote college route where you have a mother agency, you've been taking classes, you've training for the 4 or 5 years, and now you're getting your break into the industry with the Philly Fashion Show and the Blue Man Group, the Blue Man Group is amazing. I still can't believe that like the homie is gonna be in the Blue Man Group.
There was a lot of in between there. I kind of skipped over from first to where we're at now.
That's fine. We got the 2 big ones. That's so cool, man. I'm so happy for you. I'm proud of you, dog. That's huge.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And good friends matter too.
Absolutely. So what I was saying is you're kind of taking that college route, whereas I'm kind of going the uncharted route where I'm getting my classes through experience. Instead of taking an acting class, I'm just showing up to a student film. Instead of getting a mother agency, I'm just going to whatever network event I can find online or on a flyer or something. So,
and there are a lot of people that go that route. I don't discredit that route. I have a lot of respect for people that go that route as well. And I do believe that also experience can be the best teacher. If you have that opportunity and you're in a place that you can do that, if you're in a major market, you live in New York or in Atlanta or Chicago or in LA or something like that, where you can go and book student films or background roles or just little gigs just to be on set, even though you might be getting paid 50 or $100 or might be working it for free. You're just that experience of being on set and the credits that you get from being there are super valuable. But I think that's where the argument for do you need an agent to be a successful actor starts to come in, because there are a lot of successful actors that you would never know their name. They are really great at booking background roles or booking featured extra roles, things like that, where they're getting paid and they're working consistently, but they're just never going to be the biggest name on the project. But at the same time, I've also learned that there are certain roles that you can't get through an Actors Access or a backstage just creating your own platform. They send it through. There are casting directors that send their casting calls to specific agents that they know. And now those agents are looking through their roster of people to figure out who would be best for that audition. That's how I landed the Blue Man Group.
That's amazing. And that's true what you said. I remember going to an event through casting networks and speaking with one of the people that are in charge of the website. They were telling me that there are roles that they only send to agents. So there's an agent only side of casting networks, and then there's also a website that's only agents all the way. Like there are separate websites that like us as talent will never even get to look at.
Exactly.
So when, for you, when would you say like, okay, now would be a good time to get an agent in your opinion?
That would be completely just dependent on you and your process, you know what I mean? And the route that you decided to take. The when is the hardest part, because it's really the knowledge and the learning, and that will, I don't know how to put this in the best words, but it's the knowledge and the learning and the experience that you gain that really add up to whether or not an agent is even willing to take a look at you. You know what I mean? But at the same time, like we just mentioned, there are people that decided to not go the agent route, whether it was the fact that they didn't want to wait and go through the development, or it was the fact that they didn't want to pay 20% off the top to a separate entity before they were able to take their cut of the money. It's different for everybody, and the most beautiful part about this industry is that every single person that has made it has a completely different story. There are some people who they came out of the womb and their parents immediately put them in training and classes, and you know they were child stars through and through. There are some people that don't start pursuing this until they're later on in their life, and maybe they made their money and they've made their money and they've done impactful things, but they've never truly lived the dream that they've set out for themselves. Right. So there's no one answer for when is the right time to sign with an agent. I think you just have to take an honest look at yourself in the mirror and do an honest analysis of what your goals are, and then figure it out that way.
That's fair. I do think it's different from person to person. You definitely have to, like you said, which can be the hardest part, is just look at yourself in the mirror and be like, all right, what do I want? Where am I going? Who can help? things like that, right?
Even with working actors, there are so many people that look in the mirror and they are lying to themselves about who they are and the things that they can do. But
so when you woke up this morning and you looked at yourself in the mirror, what did you have in store for that fashion show? What did you envision?
So I'm only I'm not the head producer on it. I get to pitch my ideas and things like that, but I just roll with the punches.
Which ideas did they take?
When it came to, there were a couple different ideas from all over the place.
Yours, like a couple of your ideas that they ran with.
So just for example, we spent about 3 hours going through the music and making sure that we had the right audio tracks that were going to hype up the crowd and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So when we were going through the men's line, we were trying to come up with an upbeat song, and we wanted something that was a little bit more now, and we ended up going with Lovin' on Me by Jack Harlow, which was initially denied by my director because they typically don't go for rap songs. So I doubled down. I said, well, what about the instrumental? And she was 50-50 on it, and then we were playing it, and somebody from across the room knew what we were doing, came over to us and said, please tell me you're going to use that song in the show. And that was all she wrote. So that was just one example, but there were a whole bunch of decisions, and some of them fly, some of them sink. You can never be married to anyone.
I should have known that song was you, because I was like, no way all of these professionals at IMTA are gonna put that song on. And when it started playing, I was like, yo, what's going on here? There's too many kids for them to be playing this song, and it was just the instrumental. I was just like,
Well, they got to understand that the youth run this, and they don't have this competition if it's not for the kids that are coming out. Well, also the adults, but also the youth that are coming out and pursuing their dreams. And it's one of the most viral songs on TikTok right now. So how can you get away from it?
That's so true. That's so true. Habibi, thank you for your time.
Of course. Thank you for having me, brother.
100%. I'm going to put his links down in the description for his Instagram, whatever he got, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter. I'm going to find it. I'm going to put it in the description. Final question. The whole point of this channel is to just pick the minds of people that are still trying to make it in the industry, still trying to find their break, although I guess you got a couple already. I'm gonna get you before you get on stage for the Blue Man Group, so it still counts.
I'm still looking for my big break, you get a couple of small breaks, but it's your big break that you really kick the door.
Yeah, he got a Kit Kat. He's looking for the king size. Fair enough.
Exactly.
But basically, just what is your advice to people out there that are trying to make it work for themselves, whether they started or not? They're thinking about it, and what kind of advice do you have for those people?
This is actually one of my favorite questions, and this glass is empty now, so I can go ahead and set this down. This is actually one of my favorite questions because this leads me back to the core values that I truly pride myself on and that I live my life on every single day. If I didn't wake up and think about these core values and make sure that all of my decisions were centered around those values, then I don't know that I would have gotten to where I am today. So number one is hard work and effort. Every day, it doesn't matter what career you choose, whether you want to be a doctor, an engineer, a model, an actor, whether you want to be the best janitor that has ever lived, it's gonna take some level of hard work and it's gonna take a lot of effort. But those are the two things that you can control the most. How hard am I working? How much effort am I putting in? Am I going to be able to put in 100% effort every single day? Probably not. But if you put in just 1% effort every single day for an entire year, look at how much you've grown. More than 300%, right?
Absolutely.
So you've got to put in you can't be scared of the hard work. Can't shy away from it. You got to become best friends with the hard work. I'll even take it there. Number two is consistency. Denzel said it best. Without motivation, you'll never start. But without consistency, you'll never finish. there are a lot of people that get on the road to this industry and they have an awesome idea and they start doing a couple of little things just to get started. But then as things start to get more challenging and the adversity starts to pop up, then maybe they start to backtrack on themselves a little bit, or maybe it's just the fact that they're a little bit lazy and they don't feel like waking up at 5 a.m. They don't feel like doing their skincare today. They don't feel like going and making sure that you have the proper clothes or that you show up on time for the casting. And those are all things that matter. You really have to cross your T's and dot your I's if you want to stand out, because it really truly is one of the most competitive industries on earth. So if you want to be in this, you've got to be consistent. And the last thing is passion and enthusiasm. If you have the opportunity to get into the industry in any form or fashion, whether you're a producer, an actor, a singer, a dancer, you have to truly realize how blessed we are to wake up every day and be able to live our dreams the way that we do. So, just be thankful and be enthusiastic, be happy, be passionate, go after the things that you do, go after the things you want, and every time you do, just do it with a smile on your face. So if you can pick up any one of those three core values, and make it matter, then you're gonna have something truly special.
I believe it. I feel it. Habibi, I appreciate you for spending the time, inviting me out here. And yeah, people, Dave Lauscar.
Thank you for having me on itsMaShow.
It's mine. Habibi, I appreciate you.
Much love.
Habibi, all right.
either handhelds or the ones you can like clip to your shirt on Amazon for like $20.
I have this one for $20, and it's poor quality.
Really?
Like I would rather just find a quiet room and let the iPhone mic do its thing. Because like the quality, it's not that great. It helps. It helps when I'm in a crowded place. It's just if it's too close, it gets all scratchy. Especially if you go ha ha ha, like you have a nice good old laugh, the thing just like.
Oh yeah.
So it's not worth it.
And that's me.
Oh yeah, let it out. I mean, like. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is Dave Lauscar.
Lauscar, please.
Lauscar.
Yes, Lauscar.
All right.
Roll the R a little bit. I don't know flavor.
Lauscar.
That's what I like.
Lauscar.
That sounds good.
You can just make it like the Oscar. Lauscar.
Yes.
That would be fun.
Yes. Now, I will not answer to anybody unless they say my name like that from now on.
Senor Lauscar.
They say Dave Lasker. I'm gonna be like,
who the hell? Who's Dave?
I'm trying to find him. I'm trying to find another glass of wine too.
We'll get you out of here soon enough. Don't worry.
Hey guys, hey man, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm just going around checking the doors. I see some doors are not, I guess like occupied with the guests. So I'm just making sure that they're closed because sometimes we get intruders. Making sure.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we're not intruders though. Like we're with IMTA. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
All good.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, sir.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Just gotta double check and do your job, you know?
I mean, yeah. Now you guys know we are also not intruders, or else we would have gotten kicked out of this place. So.
I'm not an intruder thanks to Dave. He got me the badge for tonight.
Yeah, I'll allot you another 10 minutes or so, but then it's
Habibi,
taco
thank
time.
you. I appreciate you, and that's fair.